The transport ship slowed down as it approached the massive station hanging in space. Captain Park stood at the window, watching the structure grow larger. Horizon's Gate was the biggest thing she had ever seen. It looked like a small moon made of metal and glass, spinning slowly against the black sky filled with stars. "First time seeing it never gets old," said, standing beside her. He was the head of security for their small team, a tall man with broad shoulders and alert eyes that missed nothing. "Hard to believe humans built stations half this size back home." "We're not here to compare sizes," said with a small smile. "We're here to join their club." Behind them, Lee was checking her tablet for the 100th time. The science advisor looked worried. Her fingers moved quickly across the screen, reading through files about the aliens they would meet today. "Captain, you should read this again," said. "The don't do normal greetings. They have this thing called a bone test." Turned away from the window. "I read the files. They squeeze hands to show strength. It's their way." "It's more than that," insisted. "They've broken bones of 17 different species during first contact. They believe only the strong deserve respect. If you show weakness, they'll vote against us joining the coalition." Crossed his arms. "So what do? Bring a robot hand?" "We do what humans always do," said quietly. "We adapt." The ship docked with a soft thud. The crew gathered their things and walked to the airlock, checked her uniform one last time. It was simple but official, dark blue with Earth's flag on the shoulder. She wanted to look professional, not military. This was about diplomacy, not war. The airlock opened with a hiss. Cold air rushed in, making shiver slightly. The station kept the temperature low for the species that liked it cold. She stepped through the door and onto the station. The docking bay was enormous. Dozens of different ships sat in rows, each one strange and beautiful. Aliens of all types walked around, doing their work. Some had too many arms. Others floated instead of walking. A few looked almost human but with skin colors that didn't exist on Earth. A small alien approached them. It looked like a blue monkey with 6 eyes. It wore a translator device around its neck. "Humans?" the alien asked. Its voice came out of the translator in perfect English. "That's us," said. "Follow me, the council waits." They walked through the station for almost 20 minutes. The halls were wide and tall, built for species bigger than humans. Felt small here. Everything reminded her that humans were new to this. Everyone else had been traveling the stars for thousands of years. Earth had only figured out faster-than-light travel 30 years ago. The blue alien led them to a massive door. It was made of something that looked like gold but probably wasn't. Symbols covered the surface, glowing softly. "Through here," the alien said. "Remember, be respectful. The council decides your fate today." The door opened without a sound, took a deep breath and walked inside. The council chamber was circular and huge. Seats rose up along the walls like a theater, filled with aliens of every type. Some were small, others were giants. All of them turned to look at the 3 humans walking across the floor. In the center of the chamber stood the tallest alien had ever seen. It was at least 8 feet tall, with skin that looked like purple crystals. 4 arms hung at its sides, each ending in a hand with 4 long fingers. Its face was angular and sharp, with eyes that glowed like red diamonds. "I am on," the alien said. Its voice was deep and rumbling like rocks grinding together. "Ambassador of the Empire, you are the humans." "I am Captain Park," she said, walking forward with confidence she partly had to fake. "Representing Earth and requesting membership in the Galactic Coalition." On looked down at her. Even though was tall for a human woman, she barely reached his chest. The alien's mouth curved into something that might have been a smile but looked more like a threat. "Earth," On said slowly. "A heavy world, hot, wet, filled with poison you call oxygen." He stepped closer. "Your files say your people are weak, fragile, short-lived. Why should the Coalition accept such a species?" Murmurs ran through the council chamber, heard laughter from some of the aliens. Others just watched with cold eyes. "Because we're still here," said firmly. "Our world tried to kill us every day and we're still here. We built cities. We went to space. We survived." "Surviving is not the same as thriving," On said. "Many species survive. The coalition only wants the worthy." He extended one of his hands toward her. The crystalline fingers caught the light, sparkling like knives. "We have a tradition," he said. "A test of worth. We shake hands with those who wish to join us. If you are strong, you prove your value. If you are weak—" He paused. "Well, weakness speaks for itself." Moved closer to his hand near his weapon. His face had gone pale. They both knew what this meant. They had read the reports. Broken bones, crushed fingers, species that failed the test and went home in shame. Looked at On's hand, then up at his glowing eyes. "A handshake," she said. "Just a handshake." "Just a handshake," On agreed. But the way he said it made it sound like a threat. The council chamber went completely silent. Every alien leaned forward to watch. Some held devices that were probably cameras. This moment would be recorded. If failed, the whole galaxy would see it. Earth would be rejected, maybe forever. Thought about home. About Earth with its heavy gravity and its violent weather. About the ancestors who climbed down from trees and walked across continents. About the generations who survived ice ages and plagues and wars. About every human who ever lived and died on that difficult, beautiful, impossible world. She raised her hand. "Okay," she said simply, "let's shake." On's smile grew wider. His hand moved forward, could see now how big it was, how hard the crystalline skin looked, how strong this creature must be. She reached out and took his hand in hers. The test began. The moment their hands touched, felt the pressure begin. On's crystalline fingers wrapped around her hand like a trap closing. The pressure increased slowly, deliberately. He wanted her to feel it building, wanted her to panic. Kept her face calm. She had trained for this. Not specifically for a bone-crushing alien handshake, but for pain, for pressure, for not showing fear when every instinct screamed at her to run. The pressure kept growing. It felt like her hand was in a machine press. She could feel on strength, and it was enormous. The alien wasn't even trying hard yet. This was just the beginning. Around the chamber, aliens leaned forward in their seats. Some made noises that were probably excitement. Others watched in cold silence. Could see's worried face in the corner of her eye. Stood perfectly still, but his jaw was tight. On increased the pressure again. Now it hurt, really hurt. Felt the bones in her hand grinding together. The pain shot up her arm like fire. Most people would have screamed by now, would have pulled away, would have failed the test. But had grown up on Earth. She had broken her arm falling from a tree when she was 8, had dislocated her shoulder playing sports in high school, had survived 2 crash landings during her military career. Pain was an old friend. She knew how to breathe through it, how to push it to the back of her mind and keep going. She looked directly into On's glowing red eyes and smiled slightly. The alien's expression changed. Surprise flashed across his crystalline features. He squeezed harder. 800 pounds of pressure per square inch. That's what the files said they could produce. Enough to crack concrete. Enough to shatter the bones of almost every species in the known galaxy. But Earth's gravity was stronger than most worlds. Humans had evolved under 1 full G of constant pressure. Their bones were denser. Their muscles were thicker. Their bodies were built to carry their own weight on a world that pulled hard at everything. Felt something shift inside On's hand. A small vibration, a tiny crack in the crystalline structure. She realized something then. They were strong, yes, but their strength came from their crystalline exoskeleton. It was hard but rigid, not flexible like bone, not living and healing like human tissue. And rigid things could shatter. Began to squeeze back. She didn't do it all at once. That would have been too obvious. She increased the pressure gradually, the same way On had. She wanted him to feel what she had felt, the slow build of force, the growing realization that something was wrong. On's eyes widened. He tried to squeeze harder but matched him. For every pound of pressure he added, she added one back. Her human hand, made of flexible bone and strong muscle and tough skin, held firm. The first crack was quiet, just a small sound like ice beginning to break, but in the silent chamber everyone heard it. On tried to pull his hand away, too late. The grip was solid now. She wasn't squeezing to hurt him, she was just holding on, just matching his strength with her own. Another crack, louder this time. The crystalline structure of On's wrist was failing. The rigid material that made him so strong was now his weakness. It couldn't bend, couldn't flex, it could only break. "Release me," On said. His voice had lost its confident rumble. Now it sounded strained, desperate. Looked at him calmly. "You said this was a test of worth, a handshake. Are you finished already?" The council chamber erupted. Aliens stood up in their seats, shouting in languages the translator couldn't keep up with. Some were cheering. Others sounded angry or afraid. All of them were shocked. On pulled harder, trying to break free, but that was his final mistake. The pulling motion combined with the pressure created a force his wrist couldn't handle. The crack was loud this time, like a tree branch breaking. On's wrist shattered completely. Pieces of crystalline material fell to the floor, glittering under the lights like broken glass. The alien ambassador screamed. It was a high, piercing sound that hurts ears. He stumbled backward, clutching his arm. Where his hand had been, there was now just a jagged stump. Purple fluid that might have been blood dripped onto the floor. Stood perfectly still, her hand still raised. She wasn't even breathing hard. Her hand was red and sore, but nothing was broken. Nothing was damaged beyond a few bruises. The chamber went silent again. Every alien stared at her with wide eyes or whatever they used to see. No one seemed to know what to do. Was the first to move. He walked quickly to side, his hand still near his weapon. "Captain, are you all right?" "I'm fine," said quietly. She lowered her hand and flexed her fingers. They hurt, but they worked. "Get the medical team for Ambassador On." Rushed forward with the emergency medical kit, but the own people were already swarming around their ambassador. They glared at the humans with hatred in their eyes. A new voice echoed through the chamber. "Silence." Everyone turned to look at the highest seat in the council. An alien sat there that hadn't noticed before. It was small and ancient-looking, with silver skin covered in wrinkles. But when it spoke, everyone listened. "I am Council Elder In," the alien said. "This session is in disorder. Medical teams attend to Ambassador On. Everyone else remain calm." The medical teams rushed in with equipment. They surrounded On, working quickly to stabilize him. The ambassador was still conscious, still staring at with shock and anger. Eldarin stood slowly. Despite being small, the alien commanded respect. "Captain Park, you have participated in the bone test as requested. You have succeeded." "I didn't mean to hurt him," said truthfully. "I just matched his strength, that's all." "Matched?" One of the medics looked up, anger clear in its voice. "You destroyed his wrist, you." "Enough," Elder In said. "The bone test exists to determine strength and worthiness. The human past. What happens during the test is the responsibility of both participants." The elder walked slowly down from its high seat. Despite its age, it moved with grace. It came to stand in front of, looking up at her with intelligent eyes. "Tell me, Captain Park," the elder said, "what is Earth's gravity?" 1G, Elder replied. "Standard Earth gravity." Murmurs spread through the council. The elder nodded slowly. "And the atmospheric composition?" 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen, trace elements. More murmurs, louder now. The elder's expression was unreadable. "And the temperature range where humans live?" -40 to +50 Celsius, said. though we've survived in more extreme conditions with equipment. The council chamber exploded with noise. Aliens were standing, shouting, gesturing wildly. The translator couldn't keep up, caught words like and impossible and dangerous. Elder In raised a hand. Slowly, the noise died down. It seems, the elder said carefully, that we have made a mistake. We assumed Earth was a normal world. We assumed humans were a normal species. The elder looked around at the council. We were wrong. Was being carried out on a medical stretcher. As he passed, he looked at her one more time. The hatred was still there, but now there was something else too. Fear. Elder In turned back to. This session is adjourned. The council must review Earth's planetary data before we proceed. Captain Park, you and your delegation will remain on the station. We will reconvene in 3 days. Thank you, Elder, said bowing slightly. As the council members began to file out, heard them talking about Earth, about humans, about an evolution and what it meant that a species like humanity existed. Put a hand on her shoulder. That was either the bravest thing I've ever seen or the craziest. Maybe both, said, still looking shaken. Looked down at her hand. It was starting to swell. It would hurt for days, but it would heal. That's what human bodies did, they healed. Come on, she said to her team. Let's find our quarters. Something tells me things are about to get interesting. They had no idea how right she was. The quarters assigned to the human delegation were nice but clearly designed for smaller species. The beds were too short. The chairs were too low. The temperature controls didn't go high enough for human comfort. Still, it was better than sleeping on the ship. Sat on her bed, soaking her hand in ice water. The swelling had gone down a little, but the bruising was spectacular. Her entire hand had turned purple and blue. Paced back and forth across the small room. He had been doing that for an hour. We should have expected this. The files mentioned the bone test, but they didn't say it was mandatory. Would it have changed anything? Asked. She was sitting at the desk, her tablet displaying Earth's geological and biological data. We came here to join the coalition. Refusing the test would have ended everything. At least we'd still have intact bones, muttered. Pulled her hand from the ice water. The cold had numbed the pain. My bones are fine, his aren't. A chime sounded at the door. His hand immediately went to his weapon. After what happened in the council chamber, he wasn't taking chances. Who is it? Called out. Medical services. A voice responded through the translator. We need to examine your hand. Checked the door's security screen. A small alien stood outside carrying a medical case. It looked harmless, but he stayed alert as he opened the door. The alien entered quickly, moving on 6 thin legs. It had no eyes that could see, but several antennae on top of its head swiveled in her direction. I am healer, the alien said. Please extend your hand. Did. The healer's antennae touched her skin gently, moving across the bruises. A device in its medical case hummed softly. Curious, healer said after a moment. No fractures, no breaks, just soft tissue damage. You should not be able to move your fingers. It hurts, but I can move them, demonstrated by flexing her hand. The healer's antennae quivered. Ambassador On's wrist was completely destroyed, shattered beyond repair. He is receiving a cybernetic replacement as we speak, yet your hand, which endured the same pressure, is merely bruised. Different biology, said from the desk. Our bones are more flexible, more dense. They evolved under higher gravity. Yes, I read your files after the incident, healer said. 1 full G of gravity. Remarkable. Most coalition species evolved on worlds with 0.6 or 0.7 G, the healer looked at with its antennae. You must feel heavy here. Actually, I feel lighter, said. The station's artificial gravity is set to 0.7. I could probably jump twice as high here as on Earth. And lift twice as much weight, the healer said softly. I see. It applied something cold to his hand. The pain faded even more. This will help with healing. You should recover fully in a few days. Thank you, healer. As packed its medical case, it paused. Captain Park, may I speak freely? Of course. The council is frightened, said. They are reviewing Earth's data right now, and what they are finding scares them. Your world is classified as a Class 9. Do you know what that means? Shook her head. The classification system rates planets from 1 to 10 based on how hostile they are to life. Class 1 worlds are garden paradises. Class 5 is average. Class 7 is considered dangerous. Santini drooped. There are only 3 Class 9 worlds known to have intelligent life. Earth is one of them. The other 2 species are considered the most dangerous in the galaxy. We're not dangerous, protested. We just want to join the coalition peacefully. You broke Ambassador On's wrist with your bare hand, said gently. They are one of the strongest species in known space. They have never lost a bone test, until today. The healer moved toward the door. I believe you when you say you want peace, Captain, but belief and evidence are different things. The Council will want proof. After left, the 3 humans sat in silence for a while. Class 9 said finally, that explains a lot. Like what? Asked. Like why we're so tough, pulled up data on her tablet. Look at this. The average gravity for coalition worlds is 0.65 g. The average oxygen level is 15%. The average temperature range is 10 to 30 Celsius. She looked up at them. Compared to that, Earth is hell. Earth is home, said firmly. It made us who we are. The next morning, Elder In requested another meeting. This time it was private, just the Elder and in a small conference room. The ancient alien looked even more tired than before. Captain Park, I will be direct. The Council is divided. Half want to accept humanity immediately. They see your strength as valuable. The other half want to reject your application. They see your strength as threatening. What do you see, Elder? Asked. In was quiet for a long moment. I see a species that survived what would kill most others. I see potential for great things, but I also see danger, not from malice but from simple physical difference. The Elder sighed. Tell me honestly, how strong are humans compared to you? I'm not the strongest human if that's what you're asking, said. I'm fit and trained, but there are many stronger than me. Athletes, laborers, soldiers. How much stronger? Some humans can lift 300 kilograms. Some can run for hours without stopping. We have people who climb mountains for fun, who swim in frozen water, who survive falls that would kill most species. The Elder's face showed concern, and this is normal for your species. We're adaptable, Elder. That's what Earth taught us. Adapt or die, so we learn to adapt to everything. In stood and walked to the window. Outside, the station rotated slowly, stars wheeling past. The Council wants a demonstration. They want to see what humans can really do, not in combat but in normal tasks, physical tasks. What kind of demonstration? We have prepared several tests, lifting, running, endurance, nothing meant to harm you, just to understand your capabilities. The Elder turned back to face her. Will you agree? Thought about it. A demonstration could go wrong, could make humans look like threats instead of allies, but refusing would be worse. It would look like they had something to hide. I'll agree on one condition, said. My whole team participates, not just me. I want the Council to see that all humans have these capabilities, not just special individuals. Agreed, In said. The demonstration will be tomorrow in the main cargo bay. The full Council will attend. The next day, the cargo bay was packed with aliens. They filled the observation galleries, hundreds of different species all watching with curiosity and fear. In the center of the bay, equipment had been set up, weights, running tracks, various machines meant to test strength and endurance. Stood with and all 3 wearing their standard uniforms. No special equipment, no enhancements, just human bodies doing what human bodies did. Elder In addressed the Council. We are here to observe human physical capabilities. The tests will be administered fairly and monitored carefully. Let us begin. The first test was lifting. A machine displayed weights in standard coalition measurements. An average coalition member could lift about 30 kilograms. Went first. She was the smallest of the three humans, barely 5.5 feet tall. She approached the weight rack casually and picked up a 60-kilogram bar. The council gasped. She lifted it over her head easily, then set it down and picked up an 80-kilogram bar. "This is comfortable," said. "I could do this all day." She put it down and picked up 100 kilograms. She struggled a bit with this one, but still managed to lift it. Went next. As head of security, he was trained in physical fitness. He picked up the 100-kilogram weight like it was nothing, then 120, then 140. Finally, he lifted 160 kilograms, held it for 10 seconds and set it down. The council was silent, watching in disbelief. Didn't go as heavy as, she focused on repetition instead. She picked up 70 kilograms and lifted it 20 times, then 30 times, then 40. "Endurance is our advantage," she explained to the watching council. "We can keep going long after our muscles should have given up." The running test was next. The track was set up as an obstacle course. Average coalition completion time was 10 minutes. All three humans completed it in under 5 minutes. Finished in 3 minutes 40 seconds, barely breathing hard. The final test was endurance. How long could they hold themselves in a difficult position, hanging from a bar with their arms fully extended? The average coalition member could manage 30 seconds. After 5 minutes, all three humans were still hanging. The council started to murmur nervously. After 10 minutes, dropped down, flexing her fingers. "Sorry, my hand was cramping." And held on for 15 minutes before they were told they could stop. As they walked back to the center of the bay, could see the fear in many alien faces. They hadn't just seen strength. They had seen what Earth's harsh environment had created, a species that could endure almost anything. Elder and stood again. "Thank you for the demonstration. The council will now deliberate." As they were escorted from the bay, heard the whispers starting. The same words kept coming up. "Survivors dangerous." She just hoped the council would see them as potential allies instead of threats. The first attempt came that night. Was asleep when her training woke her. Years in the military had taught her to recognize when something was wrong. The air tasted different, slightly sweet, like almonds. Her eyes snapped open. Gas. Someone had pumped gas into their quarters. She rolled out of bed, grabbing her emergency mask from the nightstand. She slammed her fist against the wall, triggering the alarm. Warning lights flashed red throughout the room. Burst through the connecting door, already wearing his mask. "I smell it too, poison gas." They ran to his room. She was still asleep but breathing. Pulled her from bed while opened the emergency vent, purging the contaminated air. Woke up coughing. What happened?" "Someone tried to kill us," said flatly. She checked the room's environmental controls. The system had been. Someone with technical access had flooded their quarters with poison. Station security arrived within minutes. They were led by a four-armed alien named. He looked at the environmental readouts and his face went pale. "This is gas," said. "Deadly to most oxygen-breathing species, fatal within 30 seconds. He looked at the humans in confusion. "How are you alive?" "I smelled it and woke up," explained. "We got masks on quickly." "You smelled it," repeated. "Is designed to be odorless. Most species can't detect it until it's too late." "Humans have strong senses," said. "We evolved as persistent hunters. We can track prey across long distances using smell." Looked disturbed by this information. "I see. Well, you're lucky. This gas kills most species in seconds. Even brief exposure should have left you sick for days." But the humans felt fine. Slightly dizzy from the brief exposure, but nothing worse. Sliver had processed the toxin almost immediately. Human bodies were designed to handle poisons. Everything on Earth was trying to kill humans with venom or toxins or bacteria. Their biology had adapted. "Who did this?" demanded. "We're investigating," said. "But Captain, I must be honest. There are many on this station who fear your kind. The demonstration yesterday made things worse, not better." "We just showed what we can do," protested. "We weren't threatening anyone." "You showed that one human can do the work of 3 normal beings," said. "You showed that you're stronger, faster, and tougher than almost every species in the coalition. Some see that as valuable. Others see it as terrifying." The second attempt came the next morning in the dining hall. The station's food services had created special meals for humans based on Earth's nutritional requirements. Was eating breakfast when she noticed something off about the taste. Slightly metallic, bitter. She put down her fork and scanned the food with her personal analyzer. The device beeped a warning: heavy metal poisoning, enough to kill a normal coalition member 10 times over. "Don't eat the food," she said quietly to her team. Immediately put down his spoon, had already finished half her meal. "I already ate most of it," said worriedly. "How bad is it?" Showed her the scanner, eyes widened. "That should kill me." "But it won't," said. "Our bodies can handle heavy metals better than most species. We evolved eating fish full of mercury, plants with natural toxins, animals with parasites. Your liver will process this." She was right, felt sick for about an hour, nauseous and dizzy, but by lunchtime she was fine. Her body had filtered out the poison. Investigated again. The kitchen staff was questioned. No one admitted to anything. "These aren't random attacks," said that evening. "They were in a secure conference room reviewing the incidents. Someone is testing us, seeing what can kill us. And finding out that normal methods don't work," added. "The gas should have killed us. The poison should have killed us, but we're still here." "This is making the problem worse," said. "Every time we survive something that should kill us, we look more dangerous." She was right, could see it in the way other species looked at them now. Walking through the station corridors, aliens would move away. Some stared with open fear, others with anger. The third attempt was more direct. Was alone reviewing coalition documents in the station's library. It was late. Most of the station was asleep. She heard footsteps behind her, multiple sets. She turned to see 12 figures surrounding her. They wore the armor of warriors. They were a militaristic species, one of the coalition's strongest military forces. They looked like upright lizards with thick scales and powerful tails. "Captain Park," the leader said. His translator made his voice sound mechanical. "You are coming with us." "On whose authority?" asked calmly. "The authority of protecting the coalition from threats," the warrior replied. "Humans are too dangerous. This ends now." They moved in fast, expecting an easy capture. They were trained warriors. They outnumbered her 12 to 1. They had weapons. But they had never fought a human before. Didn't try to fight all of them. That would be suicide. Instead, she did what humans do best. She survived. The first warrior grabbed her arm. She used his momentum against him, throwing him into 2 others. 3 down. The second came at her with a stun baton. She dodged, grabbed a chair, and used it as a shield. The baton hit the chair instead of her. She kicked out, catching him in the knee. 4 down. The problem was that humans didn't get tired as fast as other species. They were strong but not built for endurance. After 2 minutes of fighting, they were breathing hard, was barely winded. She didn't win the fight. She didn't need to. She just needed to last until help arrived. The library's alarms had triggered when the first warrior attacked. Security was on its way, kept dodging, blocking, and redirecting attacks. She took some hits. A stun baton caught her ribs, a tail slammed into her back, but she stayed on her feet. When security arrived, they found still standing. 5 warriors were unconscious on the ground. The other 7 were backing away, staring at her in disbelief. "She won't go down," one of them whispered. "We hit her 20 times, she won't go down." Arrested all 12 attackers, refused medical treatment. She had bruises and 1 cracked rib, but nothing serious. The rib would heal in a few weeks. "You fought 12 trained warriors," said in amazement. "Alone." "I didn't fight them," corrected. "I survived them, there's a difference." But the damage was done. News of the fight spread through the station within hours. The story got exaggerated with each telling. Some versions said had defeated all 12 warriors easily. Others said she had barely been hurt at all. The truth was somewhere in between, but it didn't matter. The message was clear. Humans were incredibly hard to kill. Elder and summoned to a private meeting the next day. The ancient alien looked even more exhausted. "Captain Park, we have a serious problem," the elder said. "These attacks on you have created a crisis. Half the council now believes humans are too dangerous to join. They point to your survival as evidence." "We didn't ask to be attacked," said. "We're just defending ourselves." "I know, but perception matters in politics," the elder sighed. "There is a faction led by the Dominion. They are calling for your immediate expulsion. They claim that if humans can survive assassination attempts so easily, then humanity poses an existential threat to coalition security." "That's insane," said. "We can be killed. We're not invincible, we just happen to be resistant to the specific methods they tried." "Can you prove that?" the elder asked. Paused. "What do you mean?" "Can you demonstrate your vulnerability? Show the council that humans can be stopped through conventional means?" And leaned forward. "I'm not asking you to hurt yourself, but perhaps a demonstration of human limits would help ease fears." Thought about it. It felt wrong to show weakness deliberately, but maybe the elder was right. Maybe showing that humans had limits would help more than showing their strength. "I'll think about it," she said. That night couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Earth, about home, about why she had come all this way. Humanity wanted to join the stars, wanted to explore, wanted to be part of something bigger, but maybe the galaxy wasn't ready for them. Maybe Earth had made humans too different, too strong, too durable. Maybe they were meant to stay home. Found her sitting by the window, staring at the stars. "You're thinking about giving up," he said. "How did you know?" "Because I'm thinking the same thing." Sat down next to her. "This isn't working. Every time we prove we can survive something, it makes things worse." "So what do?" "We do what humans always do," said with a slight smile. "We adapt, we find another way." "What other way?" "I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. That's what makes us human. We don't give up just because something seems impossible." Looked at him, then back at the stars. He was right. Giving up wasn't the human way. They had survived ice ages and plagues and wars and climate change. They had gone from caves to cities to spaceships. They would survive this too, somehow. "Tomorrow," said, "I'm going to address the full council. No more demonstrations, no more tests, just honesty." "What will you say?" "The truth," said. "That we're strong because we had to be. That we're survivors because our world gave us no choice. And that we want to use that strength to help, not harm." "Think they'll listen?" "Only one way to find out." The vote was scheduled for the day after tomorrow. Had one chance to change the council's mind. One chance to show them that humanity deserved a place among the stars. She intended to make it count. The council chamber was even more crowded than before. Every seat was filled. More aliens stood along the walls, unable to find places to sit. News of the vote had spread throughout the entire station. Everyone wanted to witness history, one way or another. Stood in the center of the chamber with and beside her. She wore her dress uniform, the one reserved for important ceremonies. The blue fabric was crisp and clean. Earth's flag stood out bright on her shoulder. Elder In called the session to order. The ancient alien's voice was tired but firm. We are here to vote on humanity's application to join the Galactic Coalition. Before we vote, Captain Park has requested to address this council. The elder looked down at Captain, you may speak. Stepped forward. Her heart was pounding, but her voice came out steady. She had practiced this speech 100 times. Now was the moment that mattered. Honored council members, I stand before you not as a warrior or a demonstration of strength, but as a representative of humanity. I want to tell you about my world. She paused, looking around at all the different faces. So many species, so many different forms of life. Earth is a Class 9, I know this now. Before coming here we didn't have that classification. We just called it home, she smiled slightly. But yes, Earth is harsh, the gravity is heavy, the oxygen levels are toxic to many species. The temperature swings from freezing to burning, the weather can kill in hours, the oceans are deep and violent, the land shifts and breaks, volcanoes erupt, earthquakes destroy cities, storms tear across continents. Several council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Everything on Earth is trying to survive, continued. The plants compete for sunlight, the animals hunt each other, diseases spread, parasites invade, venoms and poisons exist in countless species. Even the air is full of things that can make you sick. And yet, she said, her voice growing stronger, life thrives, not just survives, thrives. Earth is covered in life. Millions of species, billions of individual creatures, all fighting to live, all adapting, all surviving. She took a breath. Humans are part of that story. We didn't start strong. We started weak. Soft skin. No claws, no venom, no armor. We couldn't fly. We couldn't breathe underwater. We were slow compared to many predators. We were prey. So what did we do? Asked the silent chamber. We adapted. We learned to use tools. We learned to work together. We learned to think and plan and solve problems. We learned to endure. Yes, we are strong. Yes, we can survive things that would kill many of you. But that strength came from necessity, not choice. Earth made us strong because weak humans didn't survive long enough to have children. She gestured too. Dr. Lee can survive poisons because our ancestors ate toxic plants during famines, and the ones who could process the toxins lived. Commander can fight for hours because our ancestors chased prey across vast distances until the animals collapsed from exhaustion. I can break crystalline structures with my bare hands because my bones had to support my weight under heavy gravity every single day of my life. We are not superior, said firmly. We are specialized. We are adapted to our environment, just like every species here is adapted to theirs. The difference is that our environment was harsh enough to make us seem dangerous to others. An alien in the gallery called out, "But you are dangerous. You nearly killed Ambassador On." Turned to face the speaker. I matched his strength in a test he created, a test designed to break the weak. I didn't attack him. I didn't seek to harm him. I simply refused to break. She looked back at Elder In. That is what humans do, Elder. We refuse to break. When Earth threw ice ages at us, we didn't die. We made fire and clothes and shelter. When plagues killed millions, we didn't give up. We developed medicine. When we ran out of food, we learned to farm. When we ran out of land, we built ships and crossed oceans. When we ran out of world, we went to space. Every challenge Earth gave us, we survived. Not through violence, not through conquest, through adaptation, through cooperation, through refusing to give up. The chamber was completely silent now. Every being was listening. I know some of you are afraid of us, said gently. I understand. We are different. We are strong in ways you're not used to. But I ask you to consider this. What could humanity do if we worked together with you instead of being kept away? She gestured to the stars visible through the chamber's windows. Space is harsh, more harsh than Earth in many ways. There is no air, no water, no food, radiation that kills, temperatures that freeze or burn, vast distances that isolate. If Earth was difficult, space is impossible. And yet we're here. You're all here. Every species in this chamber came from a world and conquered space. You built ships and stations. You created technology that defies nature. You didn't do it alone. You did it together as a coalition. Humans want to join that coalition, not to dominate it, not to threaten it, but to contribute to it. Our strength can be your strength. Our endurance can help with tasks others find too difficult. Our adaptability can solve problems others see as impossible. She paused, choosing her next words carefully. 3 days ago, Ambassador On tested me. He wanted to see if humans were worthy. I passed his test, but I think he asked the wrong question. The question isn't whether humans are strong enough to join. The question is whether the coalition is wise enough to accept us. Eldarin leaned forward. And what makes you think we are? Because you've already done it, said. This coalition includes hundreds of species. You've made it work. Different biologies, different cultures, different, and yet you cooperate, you trade, you share knowledge, you help each other. Humanity wants to be part of that. Yes, we're physically strong, but we're also smart, creative, determined, loyal. We make good allies and we keep our promises. She looked around the chamber one more time. I'm not asking you to trust us blindly. I'm asking you to give us a chance to prove ourselves. Let us join as probationary members. Watch us. Test us. See if we can be the allies we claim to be. If we fail, you can revoke our membership. But if we succeed, the coalition gains everything humanity can offer. That's all I ask, a chance. Step back, her speech was over. Now it was up to the council. Eldarin stood slowly. Thank you, Captain Park. That was enlightening. The elder looked around at the council members. We will now proceed to the vote, all in favor of granting humanity probationary membership in the Galactic Coalition. Lights began to appear on the voting board, green for yes, red for no. The lights came slowly at first, then faster. Held her breath, his hand found hers, gripped her other hand tightly. The voting board filled with lights. Green and red mixed together in a chaotic pattern. It was close, very close. Finally, the last vote registered. The board calculated the results. 62% in favor, 38% against. Humanity had won. The chamber erupted in noise. Some aliens cheered, others shouted in protest. Arguments broke out in a dozen languages. Eldarin raised a hand, calling for silence. The vote has passed. Humanity is hereby granted probationary membership in the Galactic Coalition, effective immediately. The probationary period will last 5 standard years, during which Earth will have limited voting rights and will be monitored closely. Felt tears in her eyes. They had done it. Against all odds, they had done it. Captain Park, Eldarin continued, humanity's first assignment as coalition members is to establish an embassy here on Horizon's Gate. You will serve as Earth's first ambassador. Do you accept? I accept, Elder said, her voice choked with emotion. As the council session ended and the chamber began to empty, someone approached the human delegation. It was Ambassador On, walking slowly. His right hand was now a sleek cybernetic replacement, gleaming metal where crystal had been. Ambassador On said carefully, "How are you feeling?" The tall alien looked down at his new hand, flexing the metal fingers. I am adjusting, he looked at, his red eyes no longer filled with hatred. I came to apologize, Captain Park. Ambassador Park now, I suppose. You don't need to apologize, said. I do, On insisted. I underestimated you. I thought the bone test would be simple, a way to put weak humans in their place. He held up his cybernetic hand. Instead, I learned a valuable lesson. Strength comes in many forms. I'm sorry I broke your wrist, said sincerely. Don't be. It was my pride that broke, not just my wrist. On looked at the 3 humans. I have spent the past days learning about Earth. About what it takes to survive on a world like yours. I understand now why you are the way you are. He extended his cybernetic hand. I would like to try again. A proper handshake, no tests, just respect. Smiled and took his hand gently. They shook carefully this time. No crushing pressure, no dominance games, just two beings showing mutual respect. I voted in favor of your membership, On said. The Empire supports humanity's inclusion in the coalition. I think you will make excellent allies. Thank you, Ambassador said. That means a lot. As On walked away, laughed softly. Did that really just happen? The guy whose wrist you shattered just became our ally. People can change their minds when given new information, said. That's what makes diplomacy work. Eldarin approached, moving slowly. Ambassador Park, a word. The three humans turned to face the ancient alien. You spoke well today, In said. Your speech changed many minds, but I must warn you, the hard part is just beginning. Probationary membership means you will be watched constantly. Every action humanity takes will be scrutinized. Every mistake will be used against you by those who voted no. I understand, Elder said. We're ready for the challenge. Good, the Elder smiled, showing small teeth. Because I voted yes as well. I believe humanity has much to offer. Don't make me regret it. We won't, promised. That evening, the human delegation celebrated in their quarters. They had requested Earth food from the station's replicators. The taste wasn't quite right, but it was close enough. A toast, said, raising his glass of synthesized water, to humanity's future among the stars. To adaptation, added. To refusing to break, finished. They clinked glasses and drank. Walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, home, the harsh, beautiful, impossible world that had made humans what they were. Thank you, she whispered to the distant blue planet. Thank you for making us strong enough for this. Her communicator buzzed, a message from Earth, from the UN Secretary General. Congratulations, Ambassador Park. You've made us all proud. Welcome to the beginning of humanity's galactic story. Smiled the beginning. Yes, that's exactly what this was. The hard part was over. The handshake that nearly ended in disaster had instead opened a door. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. They had allies now, partners, friends. And if the galaxy thought humans were dangerous when fighting to join, wait until they saw what humans could do when fighting to protect their new family. Because that's what Earth had really taught humanity, not just how to survive, but how to care for others, how to work together, how to endure anything for those they loved. The galaxy was about to learn what it meant to have humans on their side. Looked at her hand, still bruised but healing. The same hand that had broken an ambassador's wrist. The same hand that now represented Earth's friendship to the stars. She flexed her fingers, feeling the strength in them. Ready for whatever came next.